let's continue on here with C and D. So we're asked to find the missing side, and so I can see here that's given to me is E, and I guess I don't really know what that E is, so I need a perspective. Well, I can't use 90 degrees, and I'm not going to use the blank one, so my perspective is obviously right there. And I need to label things. So opposite of the 90 degrees is hypotenuse. Now from my perspective, I can look across. That is my opposite. And that just leaves the adjacent. So this all of these questions hinge on you being able to pick a perspective and being able to label properly. If you pick the wrong perspective, everything's wrong. If you can't label them correctly, everything's wrong. Okay, so now that I have this, I need to choose a formula. And I see here that I've circled, I don't know why I did, but I circled the 50 because that's given to me, and I circled the E because that's what I need. And like I wouldn't circle that one because I don't need it, nor is there any information there. So I'm looking for O and A. So I'm looking for O and A. And that O and A is TOA. So TOA, O and A is tangent. So my formula is tan of some angle equals O over A. Opposite over adjacent. Now the angle is given to me, tan of 45 degrees, and opposite, I don't know what that is, 50, and adjacent is E. So adjacent is E. Okay, so now I need to solve this, but I don't know what tan 45 is, so let's look at the table first. Tangent is the right one, and I have to do 45. Is that up here, or is it down here? Okay, here's 45, and tangent is the last one. Oh, 1.000. Okay, so it's just 1. Okay, let's check with a calculator. 45 tangent, also just 1. So either way, this just becomes 1. 50 over E. Now we've done these questions before, where what we need is technically on the denominator. Our unknown is down there. So what I need to do is I need to multiply by E to get rid of it, and then whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So then I have E times 1, or you could have it as a 1E equals 50. And then here you have two options. 1 times anything is just whatever it is. So 50 times 1, 75 times 1, 100 times 1 is just 50, 75, and 100. So 1 times anything is just itself, so it could just be E. 1 times E is just E. Or if you did have the 1 here, you could then divide by 1, and you would get E equals 50 over 1, which is 50. So what was tricky about this question? I mean, nothing really, except the thing that was different was that we had E on the bottom, and I needed to multiply the numerator on both sides by E here and here so that I could cancel those ones out, but now E is on the left, which is fine, so I had to divide by 1. Okay, so let's try another one here. I need to, well, first I can label my hypotenuse, because that's that. This is the hypotenuse. All right, so here's my perspective. It's 60, because that's the angle. Remember, it's obviously not choose blank, and I'm not going to choose 90. So it is 60 degrees. I have to look opposite from it. That is my opposite side. And my hypotenuse is already labeled, so therefore this is my adjacent. Now, let's see here. I have the adjacent. I need to find C. C is the hypotenuse. So I've chosen 2 different sides. That's perfect. But I don't know which formula to use. So it's A and H. So that would be Ka. A and H would happen with this formula, with cosine. So cosine of some angle equals A over H. So adjacent over hypotenuse. So cosine of the angle, what is the angle? 60 degrees equals adjacent, which I don't know what that is, 100 over hypotenuse. Hypotenuse was just the letter C. Okay, so here again we've got the unknown is on the denominator. But before we do that, let's take a look at what cos of 60 is. So 60 is, so see here, 60 is right here, and I'm doing cosine, which is the middle one, 0.5. Okay, so it's just literally just 0.5. Or if you had a calculator, 60 cos of 60, 0.5. Okay, so I know that cos of 60 is 0.5 equals 100 over C. So I do not like the C on the bottom, so I'm going to multiply by C on the numerator, so the numerator and denominator can cancel. So 0.5 times C is equal to 100. So I can divide by 0.5 and divide by 0.5, cancels out. So C is equal to 100 divided by 0.5, and that is 200. Now, how do you know that? Just as a side note, well, you have 100 divided by 0.5, which is actually 100 divided by 1 over 2. And whenever you're dividing by a fraction, you can actually flip it and flip the fraction and turn it to a multiply. So the 1 over 2 gets brought up to the top, turns into a 2 over 1, so I flip it. So I flip this bottom fraction and then turn it to a multiply. Now 100 times 2 is just 200. So that's how I got 200. Okay, so you know what's challenging or more difficult, or what's a little more complex on this question? Well, the C was on the bottom, so I had to times it by the C. I had to times C on both sides on the numerator to cancel the numerator and denominator, like I did there. I had to cancel them. And then later on, 100 divided by 0.5, how do you know what that is? And so, you know 100 divided by 2 would be 50, so 100 divided by 1 over 2, you're actually going to double it, and that's 200. So anyways, I'll just zoom out here. We've got 3 more questions to do, I believe, and those will happen in the next video.